Hello again, I'm your internet dad, and I'm sharing life lessons with you to help you thrive and survive as an individual. The subject today is riding ostriches. Now you're going to find that a very strange choice of subject, but the subset is trying the impossible. That's what I'd like to talk to you about. I was always a pretty good rider, and I thought that riding an ostrich would be fun and maybe easy. And so when I got a chance in South Africa many years ago to ride an ostrich, I jumped at it. The way they do it is much similar to your bull riding at an American rodeo. There you only have to stay on for 8 seconds, but they get the beast, tie it to the fence, and permit you to get on top. And then at your signal they release the bull and away it goes. Now, somewhat similar happens to the ostrich, except obviously it's a lot less dangerous. In theory, it's relatively simple. You sit on top of the ostrich with your legs under the wings, holding onto the wings with each hand. You cross your legs in the front of the bird and you lean back. At that point, the bird is released and heads off at high speed. The idea is if you want to turn to the left, you lean left. You want to turn to the right, you lean right. Things don't happen that way. Firstly, frequently the bird will stop, at which point you're catapulted straight over its head, end up in the dust, or it can accelerate and you fall off the back and bounce on the ground. Or you try to turn the bird, you lean right, it goes left, and you end up in the dust. The third time this happened, and it was an extremely fun day, I have to say. We were laughing uproariously. I came to the conclusion that ostriches were not serious modes of transportation. And the reason why we introduced the idea of ostriches is to link it with the idea of trying the impossible. And you all have heard of the definition of insanity. Is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. And riding that ostrich was an example of that. But there are many examples in real life, and you will experience it yourself if you're not experiencing it right now, which is we are in, from time to time, very difficult and impossible situations, but we're bred, educated, and encouraged not to be a quitter. And we refuse to be a quitter. We regard ourselves as resilient, imaginative, gutsy. We're gonna get through this. Well, like that ostrich ride, in a lot of situations you won't. It's never going to change. You're in a dead end. You will sometimes hear people saying, you know, the best thing that ever happened to me in my career is I got fired. Or they'll say, well, the best thing that ever happened in my career is the firm I worked for went under. It went out of business. Now, what they're really telling you is they were extremely unhappy in their job, but they didn't do anything about it. They waited for a disaster to force them on a different course. The disaster of being fired or the disaster of the firm going out of business. What I'm suggesting to you today is if you find yourself in this situation, don't wait for the disaster to happen. If it's not going to work for you, if you are miserable and you don't see any chance of changes, don't make excuses for that situation. Get out. Don't be a loser where you are. Work on being a winner at your next place of employment. So forget about those ostriches and start looking around for something better. Thank you.